Warning. The following video contains my own personal opinions and critiques. I mean absolutely no harm to any of the amazing and talented artists who volunteered to help make this video. No one is required to take my advice. This is just for fun. So, please enjoy. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing your commission prices, or rather helping a few of you set up your commission prices. I'll be doing a few of these videos since I got so many submissions, but you know, it's fine. Without further ado, let's hop right on in. The first example we're viewing today is a submission by Brissa. Now, Brissa already has some commission prices here, which is great. I love having something to work off of. But one thing I would like to mention is that their commission prices and the things that they use to advertise their commissions aren't branded very well. So my first piece of advice genuinely is to update how your commission price sheet actually looks. There are no photo examples, so you can't see what any of the art looks like from the picture of the commission prices alone. And if this got shared around, there's no at the bottom or anything leading back to the artist. There is on the second page, but that's separated from the prices themselves, which can be a little difficult to read. So, first piece of advice is make sure it's branded, put some pictures in there, and make sure that you are recognizable. That way you can just post a commission sheet in a server and say, hey everyone, share this around, or whatever, and everyone will know how to get back to you, and everyone will know what your art looks like without you having to give them examples or requesting that they come find you on alternative social media. Now, Brissa has a very cute and appealing art style, and I absolutely adore that. They have some adorable dogs here. I'm assuming that they not only left me examples of their normal art, but they also left me examples of their customs / adopts or whatever it may be. So we're also going to include those in with the pricing. One thing I will note before I get started on the pricing is that there is no shading evident in any of these pieces. There's a little bit here on the Sprigatito, the cat, the Pokemon cat, okay? There is a little bit of kind of lighting on the cat, it looks like. But since you didn't send me any examples of your shaded work, I went ahead and based my prices around the art that you sent in, so without shading. I would genuinely recommend attempting shading. I think that could look really good in your style. Nothing super complex or like painterly. I'm more talking about a very light cell shading might do you some good. If you used some like interesting colors, I think it could really pop in your art style. So like, for example, on this piece here, you could use some like really bright greens or maybe some bright pinks because it's like the opposite end of the color wheel. So if you used some brighter colors for shading and highlighting, I think your art could really pop. So I would genuinely recommend experimenting with that. Now, on to the prices. Editing Ren popping in here real quick. I realized that I never clarified my system here. I actually give everyone 2 sets of prices. One set of prices is based on what will probably sell the best, and the other set of prices is what I think you're actually worth. Remembering once again that this is all my opinion. If that doesn't make sense, don't worry, you'll catch on quick. So for headshots, I would recommend a starting like consumerism price at about $5 to $8. Anywhere in there is fine, anywhere works. I wouldn't go 5. It's an option for you, but I'd lean more towards 8. And what I think your headshots are actually worth right now, and keep in mind, this is all without the shading that we talked about earlier, is $10 to $12. That's why I think your headshots land. As for chibis, I think that your chibi style needs to be established a little bit better. This piece, I think, is a perfect example of what your chibi should be. Because of the dot eyes, it's important to distinguish the difference between your chibis and your full bodies, and I get how hard that can be because even I have trouble doing that because my dumbass never really developed a proper chibi style and now I just kinda wing it when people commission me. But it's genuinely easier to just have, you know, a proper chibi style, which I see that you have. Like, you very clearly have that, and you have the potential to make that a continuous style. So as for your chibis, I think they should be priced at around $10 to $12 or 15 to 18. The price could even potentially go up if you did the shading that we talked about earlier. In fact, 18 is kind of a with shading number. So I'd recommend sticking around 10 to 12, or if you wanted to push it, 15 is cool too. But 18 would be pushing it just a little bit if you didn't have the extra shading there. For half bodies, which you technically don't have on your commission sheet, and I do genuinely recommend having that on your commission sheet, you will thank yourself later. For half bodies, I recommend either $18 or $20 to $22. So that way it's a little more expensive than your chibis, and it's still slightly less than your full bodies. As for your full bodies, I think that you should charge based on complexity. I think a lot of your commissions should maybe be charged on complexity, which let's take a second to talk about that. I have my own personal rule where my commissions could cost more depending on the complexity of your character. Because sometimes I work with some really basic characters, and other times I work with people who are competing for most detailed OC ever. I think with the level that your style is at, and just your style in general, if people are going to commission you with more complex OCs, you definitely need to be charging more for that, because that seems just a little bit out of your wheelhouse, which that's not a bad thing, not even remotely. But you should be paid more for that extra effort. So full bodies should go up in price based on complexity, and I think that they should start at either $20 to $22 or a flat $25. Anywhere in that range is a good starting price. And if someone gives you a character that you're not necessarily feeling comfortable with, either because of the patterns or the level of detail or whatever it may be, you can bump up the price from there. Just make sure to have that in your rules and communicate that very clearly with your client. Moving on to customs, the complexity rule is going to transfer over here as well. Same thing for references. For customs that I'm assuming look like this, I'm going to say $20 or $25 starting price. And whatever the client wants for adding details and whatnot, you raise the price based on how you think is fair. And just as a tip for that, like let's say a client comes to you with a tiger OC, and you love tiger OCs, but you can't draw their stripes. And I'm not saying this is something that you deal with. It's just an example. You still want to take that commission, because obviously you do, because you want the money. You would charge extra because of the tiger stripes. So you see what I mean? So it's things that you don't like drawing or aren't the best at drawing. You just charge a little extra on top for, like, for example, in the tiger stripes example, you could charge anywhere from, like, I want to say $3 to $5 extra dollars. 5 would be a little pushing it for just tiger stripes, but it completely depends on what you think is fair for you. As for references, because reference sheets have a lot of extra love and care put into them, I would genuinely recommend upping the price to $35 to $40 or $45 and have the price go up from there. References typically include 2 pictures of the character, either like one naked and one with clothes, or one just standing there and another headshot. References should always include 2 or more pictures as a demonstration of how the character works. So if the client wants more pictures or wants a turnaround or whatever, up that price. Do not hesitate to up the price. And you can use the numbers that I've given you for everything today to determine how much you should raise the price. Because you absolutely should not be charging $2 for a whole extra full body. That's absolutely unreasonable. As for extra stuff, you asked me about payment, whether you do payment all up front or half and half or whatever it may be. And my genuine advice there is do what makes you comfortable, but do not send art to those who have not paid. So if you want to take payment full up front, that's what I do. There's nothing wrong with that. Go for it. However, if you want to do half and half or have the client pay after you're finished, I would recommend not sending the client any raw files or any non-watermarked images. So like if you did a half and half strategy, I would, talk to the client, figure out what they want, make a sketch, watermark the sketch. Make some kind of mark on it so they can't use it. Send it to them. Say, okay, what do you think of this sketch? If they approve it, continue on, get the rest of your money, send them the final product. The point is, do not send art to those who have not paid. And for your convenience, here is a full listing of all of the prices I just said. You can take a screenshot of this if you'd like, reference it, tweak some numbers, whatever you feel comfortable with, go for it. I just want all of this information for everyone to be all put together at the end of each segment. Next up, we have a submission from The Runaway. And oh my god, I love your art style. It's so tasty and smooth and delicious and like, I had to reach out to this person before I was even done like taking notes on them because I was so desperate to get some of their art. I was like, I love your art. Can you draw me something? And they made me this and it's fantastic and I love it with all my heart and it's so precious and perfect. And if you want to get one of your own, I am more than sure that they will help you out with that because I already kind of talked to them about this as a commission option. So if you're interested, link will be in the description for something for them and you could reach out to them. Oh, because they're like only on Discord or something like that. So genuine tip for you. Post on Instagram/Tumblr, literally anywhere, Twitter, wherever you want to post, start posting on social media. Your style is so appealing and has such a specific, it scratches the specific itch in my little artist brain, and I feel like I'm not the only one that could do that, like that has that feeling. So I think you need to be posting on Instagram or Tumblr or literally anywhere I think you would flourish, because I think you're literally better than me. I think you are literally better than me as an artist. So I genuinely be posting places. You could gain a large following. You could charge even more for your commissions. But speaking of commissions, let's jump right into the prices. They do not have any established prices already because they only occasionally take commissions, and it's not full on yet, so I have to start from a baseline. Listen, for doodle/sketches, so something like this, I would recommend either $10 or $20. You could literally go either way. These sketches are so gorgeous. Without color on the sketches, I would take $2 off, so either $8 or $18, but I think that's a good starting point. For chibis, or alternatively, and we did talk about this in DMs, instead of doing chibis proper, you can do what I referred to as the dumb little forms. I love these dumb little forms, I love them. Where you'll like take someone's OC and make it all fluffy and like a bean, and I love it. My genuine recommendation for pricing on those would be either 15 to 18, 20 to 25, and you could potentially even shove it to 28. So that's my recommendation for chibis / the dumb little forms that we talked about. Everyone would want one of these. Highly consider making that a commission option. As for full bodies, I would recommend either 28 to 30 or $40 flat price. If you wanted to, you could also add a complexity rule, but I don't feel like that's 100% necessary with your style. But it's completely up to you. As for customs, if you wanted to do those, that would be $35 or $40 starting price, and I would up that based on complexity because I think you are capable of some really cool designs. So 35 or 40 as the starting price there. And for animation loops, because you sent a few really adorable animations to me, I would recommend pricing those anywhere from 35 to 60. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. When it comes to animation, it's so in demand that you can charge literally whatever you want for it. And I'm not saying that you should like take everyone's money all the time, but god damn it, you're gonna take a lot of my money because holy shit, I love your animation loops so much. The reason why the margin is so big for animation loops is because I feel like something like this should be priced at around $35 because it's simple shapes, it's a little repetitive movement, it's very simple to look at. While something like this I see valued more at around $60 because of all of the different movement, the complexity of the character, and everything else. So, and I would also recommend upping those prices completely based on complexity, how much or how many pieces the client wants moving, anything like that. But I think that's a good starting place for those kind of animations, and I think you should definitely consider that. I don't actually have many more tips for you. I think you're doing fantastic, genuinely. I'm so glad that I got to art trade with you. It meant the world to me, especially because I'm broke right now, and when I'm not broke, I will be commissioning you, but like, holy crap. Fantastic artist, just post on more platforms. I can guarantee you success. Next up, we have someone who would like to remain anonymous for the video, so I will just refer to them as Anon. And Anon draws a bunch of really cute stuff. I love this. I love them. And Anon has a very cute style. I would definitely say that humans are your strong suit. Not to say that your furries or anything like that are bad. I just personally have a really good feeling about your humans. They're shaped in such a way that makes me happy. Like, and it reminds me of something, and I can't quite place what, but they're very good. They're very high quality. But I think you're doing great. It looks fantastic. One piece of advice I had that was a little bit odd was I think you should pander to the gacha community, which is kind of a weird one, but something tells me that you would have a good time getting commissions, like a good solid fan base, if you engaged with the gacha community. Like, I could see people wanting to get their gacha OCs drawn in this specific style. So I would recommend looking into that. If that's not something you're interested in, that's totally fine. But I think you have potential to be successful there. Moving on to the prices, and they did have previous prices for their commissions. They're very low. Very, very low. I'm talking like a headshot for $2. That's insane. So here's my suggestion for headshots. Either $8 or $12 to $15 for headshots / busts. I think that you have a lot of genuine talent here and that you should not be dragging yourself down to $2. That's absolutely outrageous. And I said headshots / busts because it doesn't really look like you do half bodies. It's mostly like, it's kind of half body. I don't know how to describe it. The point is, I think those should be combined, headshots and busts and stuff like that. So either 8 or 12 to 15. As for full bodies, I would recommend 15 to 18 or 22 to 25. You have your full bodies listed as $5. Ouch. I am so sorry. Yeah, no, your full bodies should be a lot higher priced. Have some more faith in yourself. I believe in you. I think your style is fantastic. I'd honestly love to get a commission from you. I think you'd handle some of my human OCs really well. As for scenes, which you didn't give me any examples of, but anything with a background, anything that has anything extra behind it besides just like a square of color or a circle of color, whatever, instantly make that price shoot up and make it based on complexity, because there are some people that are going to be like, oh, can you draw some green grass and a blue sky? And then there are going to be other people who are like, can you draw a complex cafe setting? And you're going to be like, Jesus, what? So for scenes, I recommend 25 to 30 as your starting price, and up it with complexity based on how comfortable you are with the request of the client. You did not have this listed on your commission prices. You had reference sheets, which, by the way, do not charge $8 for reference sheets. I didn't know what to label your reference sheets as, but don't make it $8. Instead, I think for like customs or adopts, that's what I priced in instead. Because I'm stupid. For customs, which you don't do, but I think you should consider because I think you have a lot of potential. Either 15 to 20 or $25 for custom. I don't see you doing any extraordinarily complex designs. If you decide to branch out in that direction, then you can go above 25, but I think 25 is a solid cap, and 20 is a decent middle ground for all of those numbers. And then for adopts, because adopts have such fucked up, stupid rules, if you were to offer adopts, I'd offer them anywhere between $2 to $5 or 8 to 10 based on complexity and concept. So that's my suggestion. I think, honestly, going back to the gacha community thing for a second, you could make gacha customs or gacha adopts. You should look into, and I hate recommending this, Amino or something. I don't quite know where you can find the gacha community, but I feel like you could make a good chunk of money there. So you should look into that. Yeah, those are my prices. Just value yourself more. Next up, we have a submission from Honey. Oh my god, my beloved Honey. Hi. Your art style is delicious. I've loved working with Honey. Honey has done a lot of art for me, a lot of character design for me. I love working with them. But oh my god, Honey, we need to talk about your commission info. I think you have some really good prices and a good setup for you, but I worry about the lack of images being shown, because in the commission page that you gave to me, there's only 4 photo examples, and they're not horrible examples by any standard. I just think that more examples would genuinely benefit you more. But if it works for you, it works, you know, whatever. Another thing I wanted to say real quick is that I noticed a thing about your style where you have a clean style and you have a painted style. And I feel like those should be defined and separated properly so that you're not giving a mixed bag of results, because I'm worried that your art is a little too inconsistent and that you should consider making examples of what I'm talking about. So for example, this is a clean lined character. Okay, you can tell the lines are clean, everything's colored in properly, but this, on the other hand, looks painted. Okay, the line art is less clear, it's a lot more high quality. I think that genuinely you should consider adding more art to your commission info examples and setting a boundary for yourself where you're doing either clean art for all commissions except for the specific one, or all painted, in which case it's a little okay. Let's talk about the prices, because I feel like that should help clear things up. So on your commission sheet, you have headshot painting commissions listed separately from normal headshot commissions, which I fully support, especially if you're going to make clean your defining style and paint it as an extra option for extra money. I actually love your prices for headshots. You have it listed as base price $50. My opinion is that you could go $45, but I love $50 or even $60 for you, so don't stress about changing the price there. As for your headshots, you have a lot of different little details that say sketch, flat color, detailed shading, additional character. That's great, and if it works for you, that's great too. I personally find that formatting to be a little confusing for clients, so understanding that I am just talking about a basic flat color or lightly shaded piece for the rest of these, you're gonna have to play with these numbers a lot, because I'm not the kind of person who can say, oh, for half body sketches are blank. I can't do that. I can't. Something about it, it gets too confusing for me, and I worry that it gets too confusing for clients as well. So take all of this with a grain of salt and try and translate what I'm saying. So for headshots, normal headshots, not painted ones, I think you should be charging $18 to $20 or $25 flat. For half bodies, I recommend either $25 or $30. Full bodies, I recommend $45 or $50. And for customs, I recommend $40. And then if you wanted to add extra detail, that you put in $50, and then make that raise with complexity. Again, like I've said. So yeah, here's all that information. Make of that what you will. I think your prices are fine. I think you're doing great. I just think there's a little something wrong with the formatting and the presentation of the prices. It's not very consumer friendly, and it also lacks examples of your work, because if you get people to your website to check your commissions, that's great, but then there's asking people to go to a secondary site or a third site or whatever it is to see more art examples is pretty unrealistic these days. So I'd recommend putting in more examples or reformatting or something along those lines. But other than that, I mean, you're doing great. If it works for you, it works for you. And last up for today, we have a submission from Impulsive Arts. In the best way possible, your art has such a, like, creepy and crunchy vibe. Like, I don't know how else to describe that. If you're interested at all in having that kind of art style, lean into, like, the creepiness and crunchiness aspect more. I sincerely apologize if you're not looking for a creepy art style, but rather a cute art style. In which, if you are looking for a cute art style or a softer art style, I would recommend making things in your art a little rounder and use less intense colors, such as these neon ones. But I genuinely love the creepy vibes. I think if you're even remotely interested in it, you should lean that direction. I'd also recommend you do some wing studies, because it seems that you draw wings a lot and they lack the proper body that wings typically have. So, and that's not an insult or anything like that. Wings were difficult for me too, so I genuinely recommend doing some wing studies. I think they could help make your art style 10 times better. Also, try gore. I feel I'm gonna feel so bad if I get a comment and it's like, I don't want to make gore. I don't want my art style to look creepy. And I'm just sitting here like, it's so cool though. Honestly, I'd buy gore from you. I don't know if that's a compliment to you. I really genuinely hope it is. I'm not trying to insult you or anything like that. But yeah, no, I think you should really lean into that. I would commission from you if you did gore and had some, like, really good examples. I would commission from you for 100%. But moving on from that, so for headshots, I recommend $8 to $12 or $15. For half bodies, I recommend $18 or $20 to $22. And for full bodies, I recommend $25 or $30 to $35. I think that it is completely up to you whether you raise the price based on complexity or whatnot. But always, and I mean it, always charge extra for backgrounds, okay? I noticed a few of your examples had some backgrounds, whether they were very simple or a little bit more complex. You should always charge people for backgrounds, and that's completely up to you on how much you charge. If you enjoy doing backgrounds and you find them easy, maybe you can charge a little bit less, but if you struggle with backgrounds and they're not your strong suit, maybe consider pricing them a bit higher. Also, completely unrelated, but I love your Sona/mascot from this picture. They're very cute, and I'd love to draw us together sometime. Very, very cute. I don't have too much else to say. Honestly, that's the fastest one I did. This one's very straightforward. I'm just trying not to hurt your feelings. I'm like, I love your style so much. It's very, very good. But you either need to switch directions and go softer, or really lean into that harsh vibe that you could totally have. Well, that wraps us up for today. I will be making like 4 more of these videos because, like I said, I got a fucking lot of submissions. Yeah, so I'll be making like 4 more of these. They're gonna come out as fast as I can get them out. For each single person I go through, I look at all the examples. I write down like a whole page of notes so that it's easier for me to talk about when I'm recording because I don't script anything. So it does take a little bit of time. And I also want to get out some other content in between these videos, so it's not just 5 videos of the same thing in a row. But more content is coming, I promise. I'm working on it. A big shout out to my Patreons for sticking with me throughout all of this. My $20 Patreon sticks and my $5 Patreon flex. Thank you so much for sticking with me on this, guys. I've been going through a lot lately, so I haven't been able to upload a lot of content, but I've been doing my best, and more content is going to be coming soon. Anyways, I hope you all had a fantastic time watching this, or at least I made your day a little bit better, or something. I don't fucking know. Subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. I love you. I'm gonna go now. Bye.